Ukrainian official claims Putin's scared of NATO's retaliation in response to nuclear weapon deployment in Ukraine. Putin unveils new weaponry, including hypersonic missiles, for Russian military. Fiery Finland goes solo in NATO bid, leaving Sweden behind. Russian meat grinder. Putin's tactics result in 188,000 casualties as NATO considers military aid to Ukraine. Enjoy watching and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on important news. Putin is afraid of NATO's response to nuclear weapon use. Russia has no chance. Putin's scared of NATO's retaliation against nuclear weapon deployment. Russia has no possibility, claims Ukrainian official. In a recent interview with European Pravda, Andriy Yermak, the head of the office of the President of Ukraine, claimed that Russian President Vladimir Putin's threats to use nuclear weapons were merely a form of blackmail. He further suggested that Putin is possibly scared of NATO's response to any potential deployment of nuclear warheads in the Ukrainian conflict. Yermak also added that Putin knows that Russia has no chance of defeating the NATO alliance. As translated by Ukrainska Pravda, Yermak said, "Nuclear blackmail is happening all the time. But we believe that at the moment it is just blackmail. A person sitting at a 6-meter table may not be worried about the fate of others, but he is afraid for himself. He knows that Russia has no chance in a conflict with NATO." Yermak's comments come after Putin announced on Tuesday that Russia would suspend its involvement in the New START treaty, the only remaining nuclear weapons treaty with the United States. This move followed Russia's decision to delay talks to restart inspections under the treaty due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The New START treaty enables both countries to examine each other's nuclear arsenal several times per year to ensure compliance with the weapons agreement. The treaty also requires countries to regularly communicate about military hardware and operations to avoid any future accidents. Despite Russia's suspension of its participation, Putin emphasized that Moscow is not abandoning the treaty and is not seeking to increase the Russian army's nuclear arsenal. President Joe Biden referred to Russia's decision as a major mistake. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg urged Putin to reconsider his decision to suspend Russia's participation in the treaty. Stoltenberg said in a press conference, "I regret today's decision by Russia to suspend its participation in the New START treaty. With today's decision on New START, full arms control architecture has been dismantled. I strongly encourage Russia to reconsider its decision and respect existing agreements." Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is set to mark its one-year anniversary on Friday. Putin announces deployment of Sarmient nuclear missiles as Russia celebrates Defender Day. In his speech commemorating Defender of the Fatherland Day, celebrated in Russia on 23 February, President Vladimir Putin announced that the Russian military would be equipped with new advanced weaponry, including Sarmient missile systems, which will be installed with new heavy missiles. Putin added that the production of Kinzhal air-launched hypersonic missile systems would continue, along with the delivery of an extensive supply of Zircon sea-launched hypersonic missiles. The Russian troops are also expected to receive new assault systems, reconnaissance and communication equipment, drones and artillery systems, Putin said. He further pledged to pursue a balanced and high-quality development of all branches of the armed forces, including improvements in the training system for units and subdivisions. According to Putin, soldiers, sergeants and officers who have proved their mettle during hostilities on the front are the solid foundation here. He underlined that millions of people are wholeheartedly, at the call of their hearts, supporting soldiers on the front line, and this unbreakable unity is the key to our victory. The Russian president also emphasized the importance of strengthening Russia's nuclear triad, a three-pronged military force structure consisting of land-launched nuclear missiles, nuclear missile-armed submarines, and strategic aircraft with nuclear bombs and missiles. Finland says it's ready to join NATO, even without Sweden. The Finnish parliament has taken steps towards initiating a domestic procedure to approve the country's accession to NATO, which has raised concerns about the possibility of the two nations being admitted to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization at different times. President Sauli Niinisto announced on Wednesday that Finland will become a member of NATO once it receives the last necessary ratifications for its membership bid, irrespective of Sweden's progress in joining the alliance. Finland's parliament has initiated a domestic process to approve the country's accession to NATO, which has sparked questions about the possibility of the two nations being admitted into the North Atlantic Treaty Organization at different times. While both countries applied to join simultaneously, Turkey remains an obstacle to Sweden's entry, whereas it no longer opposes Finland's membership. Niinistö made the remarks during a joint press conference with the prime ministers of Sweden and Norway, implying that Finland is ready to take the step into the alliance without its neighbor, Sweden, which is a close ally. However, he also emphasized that his statement should not be interpreted as Finland abandoning its neighboring country. Finnish lawmakers are expected to vote on the matter on February 28. President Sauli Niinistö has said that Finland is set to join NATO and will not wait for Sweden to get its membership ratified. He explained that Finland's membership would be secured if it gets the last ratifications required. Turkey is said to be a problem for Sweden's membership, but it no longer opposes Finland's membership. Niinistö added that it shouldn't be seen as Finland leaving its neighbor behind. Talks between the Nordic countries and Turkey are expected to resume within a few weeks, and both are expected to become members by the alliance's mid-July summit in Vilnius. Meanwhile, Hungary's lawmakers will start debating NATO enlargement on March 1, with the vote expected to take place in the week of March 6. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson insisted that simultaneous entry would be beneficial for defense, and that a single country's exclusion would make things complicated. Ukraine conflict. NATO planes could be given to Ukraine, says Ben Wallace, as he hits out at Putin's meat grinder for an army. The Secretary of Defense emphasized that the conflict in Ukraine was not a NATO conflict, and he pointed out that the tactics employed by Russian President Vladimir Putin were causing the conflict to persist. He noted that Putin was effectively operating a meat grinder for his army, resulting in a significant number of Russian casualties. There are discussions about an Eastern European nation providing MiG-29s, said an unidentified person. They added that rather than seeing NATO as a whole, individual countries who are NATO members might provide military equipment such as MiG-29s to Ukraine. The person was asked whether the conflict between Ukraine and Russia could still be ongoing in 12 months, to which they replied that they thought it would be. The person also mentioned that Russia had demonstrated a complete disregard for both the lives of the Ukrainian people and its own soldiers, resulting in the death or injury of over 188,000 Russian soldiers as a result of President Putin's catastrophic miscalculation and aggression. The conflict has effectively become a meat grinder for the Russian army. Meanwhile, UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace praised the dedication and determination of Ukrainian soldiers who are being trained to operate British Challenger 2 tanks that have been donated to aid their fight against Russia. Wallace visited the troops who are training at Bovington Camp in Dorset and told them that Britain would continue to support them until the end.